It's time for the longest running student show on 91.1 FM, KLPR Kearney, Throwin Lopes. Now let's send it to the studio for your one-stop shop for Loper Athletics.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Throwin Lopes. Here we're not on the radio this time on 91.1 KLPR, but we're on Microsoft Teams today. UNK canceled classes, so we're all in our homes, nestled up in some blankets and not out in the cold, wintry mix outside. So how are we enjoying the snow day so far today, guys? What have we got anything accomplished yet on the snow day?
No.
No. Hey, I've been a little productive. I got a couple interviews done with my little home setup, but that's about it.
Yeah, I have an interview here in a little bit, but other than that, I've done nothing. I've played video games a lot today.
Yeah,
so.
I was getting started on some homework, and then I interviewed Crew Howard for the Antelope for next week. So that's what I've got done so far. So
let's go.
Yeah,
let's go. Big time productive day.
Oh yeah. But now let's get into some Loper sports. The men's basketball team was in action at home finally this last week, and they played against the new MIAA opponent, Arkansas Fort Smith. They lost that one 59-66, which that was a disappointing loss for the Lopers. But then they bounced back against a really good Northeastern State team and won 98-96 in overtime, an instant classic from the Helton Sports Center. So obviously a disappointing loss for the Lopers against Arkansas Fort Smith, but you got to like the response, how they bounced back against Northeastern State.
Well, yeah, you really feel that just from the second half of the Arkansas Fort Smith game on, they just played a lot better basketball because, Marty talked about after the game how they just didn't feel that they came out with kind of the normal energy that they played with in that first half against Fort Smith. But then after they were down 18 earlier in the second half, came back, got it close, got it to within 2, couldn't quite pull out the victory, but you like how they played in the second half. And then I think we have a contender probably for MIAA Game of the Year that happened on Saturday with Northeastern State. I mean, that was a heck of a game going to overtime. Nobody could be stopped offensively. Chase Thompson obviously hitting a huge game-tying 3 to send it to overtime. It was just a really exciting game, and it's good to see the Lopers win one of those. It's good to see it at home because we haven't seen them so much. But it was just a really good job of them bouncing back after probably a disappointment the past Thursday against Arkansas Fort Smith.
Right. It makes you think if they could have started hot on Thursday against Arkansas Fort Smith, how the whole weekend could have gone. 2-0 on the weekend looks a lot better than 1-0, but they've got Newman tonight. But how about Jabryant Hill this weekend? Very impressive. He had 19 points. He was the leading scorer for the Lopers on Thursday. And then he was the second leading scorer for the Lopers against Northeastern State on Saturday. And then Alan Taylor put together a really good performance on Saturday as well. And it was a team effort. It really was. 98 points. It was an impressive win, to say the least, for the Lopers at home. Like you said, Kate, it's nice to have that game back at home. They do have a weird one-off Wednesday game tonight on the road, but it was nice to have that game at home.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, it was definitely a team effort against Northeastern State. 4 different players in double digits. Alan Taylor with 27, Jabryant Hill with 20, like you mentioned. Then Chase Thompson, he had that game tying a 3-pointer and had 15 against Northeastern State. And then Kendrick Gilbert had 18 points. So really a team effort against Northeastern State. But I feel like a player that kind of stood out for me over the weekend was DJ Jamerson. He really brought that spark in both the games, especially against Arkansas Fort Smith. He came in, he scored 6 points. He had one really a highlight reel block and another really good block. He really created a spark for the Lopers this weekend.
I think overall he's just kind of been a spark plug for the Lopers so far this season. He's never going to be the guy that goes out and scores 15 to 20 a night, but he just brings a different kind of energy off the bench, because when the Lopers lost a couple games there, throughout the early to middle part of the season, DJ was hurt. And we've seen when he's come back, they've played a lot better. Obviously, he had that crazy block in the Arkansas Fort Smith game. He's just a really good player, and he's earning himself more playing time here as of late because, again, he's not going to score a bunch, but he's going to bring kind of that spark plug energy off the bench.
DJ Jamerson is going to give you the most efficient 20 minutes that you're going to get, and probably the highest production of 20 minutes based on the effort. And like you guys have talked about, the spark plug that he's going to bring to the floor. It did take him a couple games to get acclimated back in the game rhythm after being hurt. But him and Taylor Harrell coming back and being academically eligible for the Lopers has been amazing, and you can tell they're really starting to gel.
Yeah, and then Jamerson, he makes a huge difference on the defense end of the ball with his build. He's more of a rangy kind of has a lot of length on the defense side of the ball. Can guard the perimeter with how he's a little bit more slender than Taylor, and you could say even Chase. So he's a better perimeter defender. But I felt like as well for the Lopers, just getting off to a better start against Arkansas Fort Smith. That first half was just not great, and against Northeastern State, they came out hot, and I feel like that's just going to be the Lopers can get out to a fast start against MIAA opponents throughout the rest of the season. I feel like they're going to be pretty successful.
Well, yeah, because UNK, they have a good team this year, and I think we all have seen that this is a much better team than what we've seen in the past, but they're a team that you can't take part of a half off, or you can't take a half off. You've got to bring the energy 100% of the game. You look at a team like Washburn. I mean, they took the first couple minutes off from UNK, but they let UNK hang around early, but we've seen how quickly they can get it back going. But UNK as a team, they just need to consistently play well to have success. You can't take any part of a half off. And so I think they kind of acknowledged that after the Arkansas Fort Smith game. I think, Coach Levinson, he probably got on his guys quite a bit after how they started that game, because there was just a lack of energy. But they really brought it on Saturday against Northeastern State, and they're just going to have to continue to bring that energy 24/7, 365 to have success.
Absolutely agree. But I want to touch on the games that we've got coming up tonight and then on Saturday. Arguably, probably the most important game the Lopers have this weekend is Newman tonight, because the MIAA on Monday released their KPI standings. And it's kind of controversial just how, I don't want to say pointless, but I'm going to say pointless these KPI standings are. And Newman's right there with UNK. And Newman is right behind UNK right now in the overall men's basketball standing. So this is a must-go-get-'em win for the Lopers tonight. And then obviously Emporia State, who's 5-9 in conference play, at the Health and Sports Center on Saturday, would also be a pretty big win for Marty Levinson's squad.
Yeah, 100%. Like Ethan said, the Lopers will be in action on the road tonight. It will be at 7:30 in Wichita, Kansas versus Newman. That'll be on the river at 93.1 and 106.9 here in Kearney against Newman Jets. And then they will return home against Emporia State. That'll be here at the Health and Sports Center at 4 o'clock. But speaking more about the KPI rankings, let's move on into the women's team. The Lopers are at 17-5. They just came off two really good bounce back wins against a really good Arkansas Fort Smith team. Just kind of led that one wire to wire, winning that one 75-52. And then they won on Saturday versus Northeastern State 79-50. So two really good bounce back wins for the Lopers after kind of having that 2-game skid against Central Missouri and Washburn the following the weekend prior.
Yeah, I mean, they totally talked about, over that last week against Central Missouri and Washburn, they just flat out did not play well. And so I think it was really important, especially now back at home, because they had 7 of 9 on the road. Now you get 6 of your final 8 at home, but they got off to better starts in the 2 games. I had Jill on post game in the Arkansas Fort Smith game, and she said that was exactly what Coach Johnson had stressed, was to get off to better starts, and they got off to fast starts. And even that Thursday game, they were playing without Sam Moore. And so for them to still score that amount of points without her, they were able to be a little more creative. I thought Jill Ashoff had just a monster weekend for the Lopers, having a double in both games. She really led the way, kind of what you expected her to be headed into this season. She really took that to heart this weekend. And then in that Northeastern State game, it kind of was a rocky start against Northeastern. I mean, it was pretty close there until early in the second quarter when they really took over, outscored Northeastern by 20 in the second quarter. And so we're able to pull away a little bit in that one. And that was good to see. Plus, good to see Sam back out there on the floor. So Lopers only ended up losing her for 1 game, which, is pretty ideal considering the situation.
I think that Thursday game against Arkansas Fort Smith is impressive. 5 Lopers scored in double figures. Jordan Sears had 15. She was the second leading scorer for the Lopers, and I think that was the most impressive game for me, outside of Jill's double on Thursday. But Sears stepped up for Sam. Jordan kind of filled that Sam Mohr presence on Thursday. And then, yeah, just utter domination. Northeastern State shot 27.3% from the floor on Saturday. Oof. Wow. That's pretty bad. The Lopers, though, they shot 53% essentially, 27 to 51. So that's a recipe for getting a big time win, and they did. That's a big momentum win for the Lopers.
Yeah, it 100% is. But yeah, the Lopers just had two really dominant quarters that kind of won both those games for them. Like John said, it was pretty even in that first quarter against Northeastern State. And then the Lopers came out in that second quarter and outscored Northeastern State 27-7 in that first half. Or in the Arkansas Fort Smith game, UNK got up 10 in that first half, then outscored Arkansas Fort Smith by, I think it was 13 in that second half. So just two really dominant quarters that just kind of took the Lopers, put them ahead, and then they just never looked back against either of these teams throughout the weekend.
Well, I think the biggest thing was just the play of their defense. You know, against Arkansas Fort Smith, they forced a lot of turnovers from that Lions team that kind of didn't turn the ball over a whole lot heading into that game. That's an offense that was averaging 89 points per game in the previous 5 before coming to take on the Lopers, and the Lopers held them to their lowest scoring average of the season, or not scoring average, but scoring total of the season at 52 points. It was only the third time they'd have been held to 50 points in that range. And so the defense just created opportunities. They flew around to the ball. And again, you know, you're going to play better at home usually. And, you know, in talking with Jill after that Thursday game, she said, you know, for me, it felt good to be at the Health and Sports Center. And so I think that definitely helped. But holding a team to 7 points in the second against Northeastern and then only 9 points in the third, you're holding a team to under 10 points in 2 straight quarters. That's hard to do no matter who you're facing, unless, you know, maybe it's Division III NAIA early season matchup. Then we see that a little more often.
Yeah, that just top to bottom impressive win. Newman, I can expect probably the same thing tonight against Newman. 2-12 in conference play. Not much to really talk about with the Jets down there. They basically play in a D1 high school basketball arena down there. It's not very good from what I've been told. So, but okay, Emporia and Newman, they got to win those. But I want to take a look at the next weekend, Thursday and Saturday, because they've got 13-0 Pitt State coming into Kearney and Missouri Southern. Missouri Southern is 5th in the MIAA. Pitt State is 1st. That is a huge weekend for the Lopers. 2 wins this weekend puts them at 12-3 in conference play, and I think they are in the driver's seat to have potentially a big weekend next weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Both those games are going to be huge. Pitt obviously hasn't lost a game yet in the MIAA, and the Missouri Southern, they're one of the top teams as well. Well, they're more middle of the pack, but that Pitt State game has probably been circled on the Lopers schedule since their loss to them last year was not a close game at all against Pitt State last year. So I know the girls are fired up to come back here at home and find a way to beat the Gorillas here at the Health and Sports Center.
Well, and you know that, you know, unless Pitt State loses a couple here, it's not going to be for any kind of first place standings, but just getting a game at home like that against the top tier team right now in the MIAA, it's just massive for the Lopers. And the one time they meet this season in the regular season, the fact that you do get it on your home floor, you know, this is my one plea to the Loper fans to please come out and attend the game and cheer. Please, that next Thursday, we want you at every game. But if you're going to go to any game this season for the Loper women, February 20th at 5:30, get your butt in the seat.
Usually the Lopers, the athletic department will label a game as the big game, and they market it towards students. Well, what better game to market to students? It's a Thursday night. Students will be on campus, and it's a big game. It's a really big game. It's got MIAA tournament implications and stuff like that for seeding. I think this is the perfect time to label that as the big game. Give out some pizza, some canes, or whatever it takes to get students in that arena. Let's pack the HSC, baby.
It was like when Greg yesterday sent out his assistant coaches to give out pizza to all the students.
Yeah.
And then we lost still.
Yeah, and then they lost. So let's hope that didn't happen.
Yeah. For my marketing class, actually, we're doing an end of the year project, and we have to label the 5 P's of a Loper sporting event and how we can market it better so we can have more people come to the games. And our table, our 4 that are sitting, we picked the Pitt State UNK game for the women's. So it'll be like we'll like show our plan obviously after the game's over and then present it to the class at the end. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. And one thing I wanted to note out before we move on, the KPI rankings, they put Missouri Western number 1, and that is 6.
The KPI rankings are a joke.
Yeah, so guys, Missouri Western 1, Fort Hays 2, Pitt State 3, and UNK 4. Washburn rounds up the top 5 or at the top 5 at number 5. So it's a weird way of ranking, in my opinion.
Is this the first year they're doing it this way? Because I don't remember it being done this way before.
I think last year they did it differently. I'm not sure, what did they change?
It should just be by conference standing, and then if it goes to a tiebreaker, probably overall record, right? You would think that's how it would go.
I would
or head to head if you can.
Or maybe
I would say head to head
as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was not a big fan of it. Pitt State is the number 1 team in the conference right now until proven otherwise. So
until someone beats them. Yeah. Until someone beats.
I struggle with Missouri Western. I don't know what the formula is, but I struggle with Missouri Western even being above Fort Hays because, you look at UNK. UNK has split the series against Missouri Western this year, 1-1. Fort Hays, I believe, has beat Missouri Western. And yeah, Pitt State hasn't lost a conference game. They're 13-0. They've lost 2 games overall on the year. I just don't understand how Pitt State's not the number 1 team for the KPI. I just don't understand what they do for that, how they formulate that, but it just seems kind of inconsistent, I guess, as you could say.
We lost Kade there for a sec.
Yeah, that little technical difficulties over here, but we're getting it figured out.
Kade, we're figuring out this technology stuff. We're not used to this
technology stuff. It's gets me all frazzled.
Yeah, hey, that's okay. We're old souls at heart.
Hey, we're working with it, but I pretty much that's it on Loper women's basketball. They'll be playing against Newman on the road, and they'll be at home on Saturday versus Emporia State. So good luck to the Lopers tonight versus the Newman Jets. Now moving on to UNK wrestling. UNK has a dual record of 9-7. Last weekend they fell to they went on the road first and dominated Newman 54-0 in that first duel of the weekend. And then on Friday they went against the top-ranked Central Oklahoma team that fell in that one 12-19. So definitely a team that UNK has lost to twice now in Central Oklahoma, but they've had a really tough duel schedule so far this year. But it's going to be interesting to see how they perform moving on into the postseason after such a tough dual schedule.
Well, yeah, I joked about it when we were breaking down the score at the halftime of the Arkansas-Fort Smith game that this is why the Lopers go out and play a tough dual schedule, because if they play just your average MIAA opponent, you take Central Oklahoma out of that because they're not your average MIAA opponent. But that's what's going to happen when the Lopers go up against more of the bottom feeders of the conference. That was utter domination. The Central Oklahoma one, you kind of expect that, especially with the Lopers still not fully healthy. They're anticipating Nick James to be back on Friday for his first duel before getting to Super Regions. And so that should be exciting. You don't expect the Tigers to do much against the Lopers, but yeah, like you said, really challenging dual schedule. You feel that this team is battle tested and they're ready for this challenge of NCAA's coming up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see on Friday if Nick James actually does wrestle. I'd be curious to see, and if he wrestles, how good he looks. He'd probably be a little rusty. He hasn't seen any true game day competition in a while. He's practiced a little bit, but it would be interesting to see what he looks like once he gets back onto the mat for the real deal. But is UNK sweeping Fort Hays? I think they are. Fort Hays is not great.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see a sweep.
60-0, you think? Or 54-0.
Well, this should be the John Willis Alex Hammocky exhibition match because we got Fort Hays UNK ties here.
I agree. Contact Alex Amicky. Get him on the phone.
Get it going at the Health and Sports Center.
Friday.
Must
Yeah.
see TV.
Must see TV. Friday, 7 p.m. It's Valentine's Day. You couldn't ask for a better scene to be set for this match.
Actually, since we're using video for the first time ever, for this, let's see if Alex will pick up the phone here, and see if he's going to be down for this.
Oh, let's do it. This could be monumental.
I think he might be ignoring me, guys. This is not going well. It's just ringing.
This could be a monumental Throwin Lopes. We did technically do video last year.
Yeah. First virtual from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trayton just got too lazy to.
He's unavailable, guys. Dang it.
Last year, shout out Trayton Harmon. Bro just got too lazy to set up and take down a camera.
What we need to do in the future is just get like one of those permanent, like it kind of looks like a security camera. You just have it in the corner, and just have like a permanent setup in there. That would be sick.
We've talked about
kind of cool.
Like maybe having cameras by all the mics, so whenever you would talk, the camera would flip onto you through your mic. But that would that'd be kind of a cool feature to add.
That would be expensive, I feel like, though.
Work on it next year, Cade. That's your job.
Yeah, I'll bring it to you guys next year. KLPR sports director.
Yeah, let's go, Cade.
I'm following in the footsteps of a legend,
here,
though.
But all right.
Hey, I'll follow in the footsteps of a legend, John Willis.
Yeah,
thanks
there
buddy.
we go.
Miss you guys.
Hey, we still got plenty of time. We don't need to get to that yet.
Yeah, we got a. Let me think. A little 3 months left. A little over, a little less.
That's crazy. Actually, our last show is 3 months from today.
There.
Oh wow.
Oh, Ethan.
I'm here.
There we go. It froze for a second. All right. But like we said, UNK will have senior night here this Friday against Fort Hays State, and then they'll start their postseason at the start of March. But moving on to UNK softball, they just started their season. They were out in Hawaii. They started at the Ulili Softball Invitational. They went 4-2. They had a loss versus Ferris State and Hawaii Hilo, and then they had wins versus Hillsdale College. And then Chaminade. I definitely butchered that.
I think it's Chaminade. Yeah.
Chaminade. And then Lewis from Illinois and Hillsdale, Michigan. Again, they've won against Hillsdale twice. So a really solid start for the Loper women out in Hawaii to start their year.
Well, I'm sure they're absolutely just dreading being back in Nebraska because, of course, right when they get back, we got winter storms and winter warnings. And so welcome back to Nebraska. Sorry about it. But I think they're now off to Oklahoma already, so they might have dodged this a little bit. But no, it was exciting to see because every game really was close. 3 of their wins came by 1 run. 1 of them came by 2. You lose by 1 run to Hawaii Hilo, just by 3 to Ferris State. It was a lot of close games that the Lopers were in and found ways to win. They got a walk-off win. They got a 10-inning win. And so this team is kind of battle-tested here in the early parts of this season. There was a lot to like. Alyssa Fordick, what a weekend she had. She was 10 of 19 with 7 ribbies. Also, the freshmen pitched pretty well in their first couple appearances. Jersey Schindler, and again, we'll get the pronunciations here soon, but Callie Olven, I'm going to guess. And then Madeline Jansen, who's kind of the experienced leader of the pitching staff. She didn't allow an earned run over 13 1/3. And so there was a lot to like from that opening weekend. Really excited about what we could see out of the Lopers this year.
Yeah, honestly, you take away 2 innings and the Lopers are 6-0 going into Oklahoma. They gave up 3 runs in the bottom half of the 5th against Hawaii Hilo. And then that game against Ferris State, it's usually how it goes for the Lopers. It's not a collective game. It's 1 inning. And for Ferris State, it was the first inning. The Lopers gave up 5 earned runs in the top half of the first. So the first inning of the season, Ferris State tacks on 5. And then the Lopers were able to battle back. But you take away 1 inning, the Lopers are 6-0 going into a good weekend in Oklahoma, the Raising Cane's Invitational. I wonder if all the players get some free Raising Canes, because that would be a good benefit to going down to Bethany, Piedmont, Shawnee, and that's it, Oklahoma.
Definitely. Yeah, hopefully it would get some canes. It'd be worth the drive all the way down to Oklahoma. But you like to see the Lopers finding ways to win close games to start the year, and kind of just finding scrappy ways to win. And you like to see it out of the Lopers so far out in Hawaii.
Well, I don't know if you guys watched any of the game changer clips from the backdrops that they had there in Hawaii, but if I'm a player and I see the beautiful Hawaiian skyline with, mountains and a beach, I'm going to probably be a little more motivated to play well. And so, the scenery out in Hawaii might have been a little extra motivation, I think. I was a little jealous seeing it because I'm stuck in cold Nebraska.
That, or I'm getting so memorized by the backdrop, I'm swinging and missing at an 0-2 ball in the dirt. It's no middle there. I'm either taking someone yard or I'm swinging and missing at a ball that's hit 5 feet in front of home plate.
Yeah,
it's me in the show.
Yeah.
What a story that would be able to tell. You could go down to Hawaii and you hit a 3-run dinger. It's like got to hit a home run when you're in Hawaii.
Well, yeah. How about Eda McNally gets to tell quite a story. She hit the walk-off triple, plus she scored the winning run in the second game against Hillsdale. All that in Hawaii. I mean, that'll be a story you tell your grandkids one day.
Absolutely.
They come back to snowy Nebraska. What a treat.
What a punch in the face after getting to spend a nice week in Hawaii.
Absolutely, gosh, that's got to be brutal.
But the Lopers will be out of the snow, hopefully. I don't think the snowstorm reached all the way down into Oklahoma. They'll be at the Raising Cane's Invitational. They'll face on Friday Southern Nazarene and Southeastern Oklahoma State. And on Saturday, they'll have a triple header versus Arkansas Tech, Oklahoma Baptist, and Southern Arkansas.
So it's not snowing, but it is pretty cold in Bethany right now, 27 degrees.
I just was looking at that.
Yeah.
Piedmont, Oklahoma, 27. This weekend, it's not supposed to be the greatest. Windy and in the upper 40s there. So
sounds like Patriot Park.
Yeah, it really does.
Yep. They'll get a little taste of home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not great. But now moving on into UNK track and field. UNK wins 3 events at the large Northwest meet. They had 9 top 10 efforts at the Bearcat Invitational in Maryville, Missouri.
One sec, we got Alex. Alex is calling.
Break.
All right, Alex, I want you to know that we are recording Throwing Lopes virtually right now. So say hi to the fellas. Alex, we want to know your opinion on you and me doing a wrestling exhibition before the Fort Hayes duel on Friday.
No thanks.
No thanks.
It's you. I think there's no better way to spend a Valentine's Day than you and John in singlets duking it out on the mat.
God.
You can even wear your jeans.
Yeah, wear the jeans.
Ooh.
I think there's about 15,000 better ways to spend Valentine's Day. 6,000 of those are probably alone, just sitting in my room eating potato chips.
That's sad. That might be one of the saddest things I've heard. That's depressing.
No, it's very depressing. But
so you're not in?
I'm not in.
Is that a forfeit win for me then?
That's a forfeit win for John.
I don't know if it's a forfeit win. I never agreed to it. I mean, like, sure. If Jake Paul were to never fight again, it wouldn't be a forfeit win for his opponents. I mean, if they were in talks to maybe fight, but then decided not to fight, I don't think that's a forfeit win.
That's true.
Just talks fell through.
I'm gonna make a Twitter post in about 2 hours. Rumors circulating that Alex Hammocky turned down fight with John Willis at the Health and Sports Center on Friday, and post that and see how that goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thanks for hopping on the Throwin Lopes virtual show.
Thanks for calling in.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
I missed the first FaceTime that you sent me.
Oh no, it's okay, Alex. We forgive you.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
By the way, John, did you see me waving at you yesterday?
No.
Oh, damn. The second and 39th, you were heading back to Grandview, and I was going to turn in so I could go get runs before my Snowmageddon trip to Norfolk. I waved, and you didn't see me. I almost honked, but I decided not to at the very end.
Well, I'm sorry I missed you, Alex.
That's okay. I was fearing that you were FaceTiming me and you were going to ask, why did you flip me off? Because I pointed at you first, and then I waved, and I was fearing that it might have been, oh, John thinks I flipped him off accidentally.
No, I did not think that.
Oh, good.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Hammer.
Okay, y'all have fun.
Thank you. Yep.
Talk to you later.
What a guy.
Yeah, what a
Holy
guy.
Yappington. Good Lord.
Mr. Yapper.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yapper.
Yeah, anyways, you
Cheating
can continue now, Kate.
Yeah, UNK track was
Oh, yeah.
at the large Northwest meet, if y'all didn't forget after that. For the fourth straight meet, redshirt junior Lily Novacek of Kearney High School recorded a personal best in the weight throw. She broke her own school record set last week at 69 and 6 and 7, or 63 meters and 6.75. Is that centimeters? I'm fumbling.
No, it's
So
feet in
the
inches.
63 feet, 8.75 inches is how that's right.
Okay, I know it was in meters. And then by going, but yeah, she had another record-breaking weekend for Lily Novacek, but it looks like it was a pretty successful weekend down in Maryville, Missouri for the Lopers.
Well, yeah, I think now any week that Lily Novacek doesn't set the weight throw, you're probably going to be a little disappointed in how the weekend went. It just seems that this has become the norm 4 straight weeks where she has set a personal best, and now that happens to be the school record as well. So I guess the question is, are we gonna get up to 70 feet this year, Lily? We got to keep getting better and better every week. See what happens.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the same conversation we've had with Wes. When Wes isn't winning and breaking records running, there's nothing to talk about. Lily Novacek is an absolute beast. I'm actually going to be talking with her for the Antelope here in about an hour and a half. So I'll maybe ask her that if she can get up to 70 feet, because I'm writing a profile on her for the newspaper for next week's edition. So maybe I'll ask her that, see if that's something that she can shoot for. But yeah, she's an absolute monster. We're a track school, man. I think it's time to say it. I think UNK is a track school. I think we are, man.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, it was 63 feet, 8 and 3/4 of an inch. Got that.
That's
pretty good.
That's monster. That's a monster throw.
I would not come close.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't even know what the baseline is for average people like us, to be honest.
I threw like 40 in the shot. I don't know what that relates to it, but threw 45 in the shot. Well, for one.
The weight throw is different because you're swinging a giant, like heavy ball.
Honestly,
and your timing has to be perfect.
I would scratch because when I did discus, I scratched probably more times than I had recorded throws.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's a lot of timing for weight throw. I'd assume it's similar, but obviously a lot heavier than a discus.
Yeah. Well, hey, congrats though to Colby Spangler and Jackson Clausen too. They also got some big wins. Spangler in the triple jump, and Clausen actually had a career low to win the 200. So that was good to see from him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, 100%. I good. Weekend for the Lopers at the Bearcat Invitational. They'll be at the Ichabod Invitational in Topeka, Kansas, coming up this weekend on the 14th and the 15th. So good luck to the Loper track teams in Topeka. Then moving on to the women and men's tennis teams, they were at the Ernest Grundy Tennis Center here in Kearney. The girls went, I can get it pulled up here. The girls went 2-1 on the weekend. Or no. I can't.
Kate, read my story that I wrote for the Antelope. I talk about it.
Just cut this. There's not a combined recap. But
read my story, Kate.
All right, stop. Okay, let me look. Oh, this is falling off the rails.
My story's got it all.
1-1.
Yeah.
And the men 2.
1 and 2. Okay, the UNK tennis team was in action at the UNK Ernest Grundy Tennis Center, and the women went 1-1, and the men went 1-2 on the weekend. So
0-2.
0-2 on the other. 0-2 on the weekend.
Kade.
What are you guys' thoughts on the tennis teams?
They hit the ball well. Actually,
Yeah,
not
Ethan,
well
you
enough
were
because they
there.
didn't
Break
win.
it down, Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan, break it down. You were the Antelope reporter for the game.
Yes, I wasn't at the meets on Sunday, but I was there for 95% of it on Friday. The women looked really good against Lubbock. Alexis Bernthal had a big singles win on Friday. And doubles, they dominated doubles. Every doubles team won. They looked really good. The pairings were good. One thing that I noticed about UNK is they're very meticulous, very, very meticulous. And I do want to highlight a quote that head coach Scott Schaefer told his team, specifically the girls' team. And to me, it was kind of a weird joint interview thing because his girls were surrounding me. It was a little awkward, that interview. But he told me that there's the toughest places to win on the road are football, basketball, and when they play the Lopers at the Ernest Grundy Tennis Center. If that doesn't get you fired up for some ball, I mean, I don't know what does, okay? I'm fired up. I'm going to go to a tennis meet next time they're at the Elton Sports Center. So, yeah. But they look good. The men struggle. Doubles seems to be a weakness for the men's, and singles – I don't really know a lot about tennis to give you a full analytical breakdown. I'm not sure what they're doing right or wrong because I don't really know much about tennis except you got to swing a racket to hit a ball. That's all I got.
I will say, Yip Men's has had a good start to the season. I think he's been kind of the shining light for the Loper men this year. He was the only one that picked up a win as well against Creighton yesterday, and so that was pretty cool to see. So for a positive on the Loper men. And they are pretty young too.
Yeah.
Yip, hooray.
Yip, hooray.
Like John said, the Lopers, or what? John, one last thing?
Oh, no, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the Lopers did get one match off of Division I Creighton, but the Loper men's tennis team will be at home again at the Ernest Grundy Tennis Center next week against Southwest Baptist and Metro State. And for the women, they will face the two Southwest Baptist and Metro State next weekend. And then lastly, the UNK swim team there out in Grand Junction, Colorado, out of the RMAC Championships. The results really haven't came through that much, or we haven't seen them yet, but they're kind of in the action of what's the word? They're in the middle of swimming right now, so there hasn't been much of a recap yet.
Yeah, we do have. There was one thing that we have seen so far. There is a new school record in the 800 free relay. So Gabby, Miriam, Reese, and Maggie. That's Gabby, Grace, Miriam Finch, Reese True, and Maggie Waddington. They crushed the record. It's 8 flat 0.62. So that was pretty good to see. But that's really the main thing we've gotten out of the RMAC so far. Big swimming fan Ethan McCormick is, I think. Oh, he's swimming right now. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm swimming. You like my stroke, guys?
It's good form.
Yeah. Hey, put me in the pool.
Put me in the pool.
There.
How do you think Ethan would fare against swimmers in the 800 free?
Announcers versus athletes. Let's do it.
In the 800 free.
Yeah. They would see me take my shirt off and get in the pool, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, are we bringing SeaWorld to Kearney?"
Ethan, don't do yourself like that. Dang.
My bad, guys. Can we cut that? Booyah!
Throwin Lopes unhinged on snow day.
Yeah. But anything else on Loper Sports, or did we touch it all, guys?
I think we touched it all.
But yeah, good start for the Loper swim team, the Aqua Lopers, out in Grand Junction with the newest school record in the 800 free relay for the Lopers. But now let's move on away from the Lopers. The Super Bowl was this weekend. The Eagles came out on top the Philadelphia Eagles came out on top over the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. Honestly, the score makes it look a little bit closer, but it was 40-6. This game was a beatdown throughout. What did we see? What are our initial thoughts from what we saw in that Super Bowl?
I, for one, am a very happy man. I've never really enjoyed a Super Bowl blowout. until this year. That was incredible to watch. Patrick Mahomes was getting beat up. They were crying. Travis Kelce, no on-field proposal to Taylor Swift coming this year. So I know he's pretty devastated about that. But I am loving life right now. The Chiefs are no more. They'll probably be back in the Super Bowl next year. But it was just good, very good to see them lose. I did think it was funny that DeAndre Hopkins tried to blame the refs after the game, even though it was a absolute torching. Congrats, Patrick. You got a couple garbage time touchdowns. Really good throw on a touchdown pass that didn't matter. Also, shout out Cooper DeJean. I mean, what a guy, getting a pick six. Proud of him. So I'm fired up.
The pride of Iowa rising up in the Super Bowl. That was a clutch pick six, man. I had just turned the game on at that time, like pretty much right after that play had happened. And I missed the first quarter pretty much. I watched the replay of it though. Throttling, just a straight throttling from start to finish. I don't think the Chiefs ever stood a chance. Jalen Hurts looked good. I was a little disappointed that Saquon Barkley didn't run as well as I thought he was going to, but the Philly defense was legit. The Chiefs couldn't do anything at all. Travis Kelce shut down pretty much. Kareem Hunt shut down. DeAndre Hopkins, for the most part, shut down. Xavier Worthy had those garbage time receptions and receiving yards, touchdown, whatever. But overall, shut down. And really, Patrick Mahomes looked like poverty, and it makes my heart very happy to see that he looked like crap.
Yeah, it was a really impressive performance for the Eagles on defense. They had 6 sacks and didn't blitz the single time though the whole game. Didn't blitz once and had 6 sacks. They were able to pick off Patrick Mahomes twice. Patrick Mahomes ended up being the leading rusher for the Chiefs with 25 yards. Their 2 top running backs, Kareem Hunt had 9 yards and Isaiah Pacheco had 7 yards. So that just really shows you how dominant this Eagles defense was. But yeah, Jalen Hurts really stepped up. Obviously, they were going to game plan to shut down Saquon Barkley and have Jalen Hurts have to beat them through the air, and that's exactly what he did. He threw for 221, he had 2 touchdowns. He did throw that interception, but a really good game for Jalen Hurts. But just kind of watching this game, you realize how loaded the Eagles are at every single position group. That, like, you could say on offense, their weakness is Jalen Hurts, and he's still a really good quarterback. They're like best offensive line in football, best running back. I would say you could argue that they're have the best wide receiver duo in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and they're just loaded on defense, every single position group, and they're all on rookie contracts too. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, the other corner. So, and you have Reed Blankenship in the back end as well. So just a lot of young talent on this Eagles team, and they could honestly repeat again next year with how many rookie contracts they have. And I've heard they've been in talks to get Myles Garrett as well over the offseason.
If they get Myles Garrett, it's over.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, they're going to go back to back if they get Myles Garrett with that defensive line already. You have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. You throw Myles Garrett in there, it's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I will say, there's been some great dynasties over the year in football, in basketball, and any other sport. But I don't think I've ever seen a dynasty, in the middle of their dynasty get blown out in the biggest game of the year, not once, but twice. This Chiefs team that has gone on a great run, we're not questioning that, but twice now in the Patrick Mahomes era have they gone to the Super Bowl and just gotten walloped. And so I think we need to pump the brakes on the Brady Mahomes comparison. For me, it's still not close. And yeah, it's interesting to see because you usually don't see a team that you would label as a dynasty get just absolutely destroyed in multiple Super Bowls.
I would agree. I think, definitely have to pump the brakes on the Brady Mahomes thing. I don't know if I think Mahomes could get there, but right now it's not. He's still pretty far out. Now, Mahomes is still young, though. He's still got plenty of time left to get there. And who knows how long his playing career is going to be. But I think, that was just an embarrassing. They look so unmotivated to be there from the start. You could kind of just tell that, like Travis Kelce and some run blocking schemes and pass blocking schemes, he just allowed his guy that he was supposed to block right by him. He just looked like he didn't really want to be there. And then just overall, I would say the Chiefs dynasty. I don't know if that that could be a downward spiral for the Chiefs. It could be like, okay, next year they're going to be dogs again. Who knows?
Yeah, but I think people need to pump the brakes on the Brady comparison. I think people forgot how good that Patriots dynasty was for 20 years. They were in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl almost every single year when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were there. And I think people need to respect that dynasty a little bit more. And obviously, Tom Brady left and went to the Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl there. So I feel like it's not close at all right now. It was like, oh, if he gets the three-peat, I'm like, we're putting too much stock in a three-peat. Even if it's not, even that it's not happened, it's never happened before. I think you just put too much stock in it. But yeah, the Eagles just manhandled them up front. They made the Chiefs O-line look like the Bears O-line in that game. The Chiefs don't even have a bad O-line. They just, it was Patrick Mahomes was running for his life the whole game. And it was weird. It was just like, seems like a completely different team that came out against the Buffalo Bills, that Kansas City Chiefs team. But was a weird Super Bowl. I was expecting honestly a high scoring, close game, but then the Eagles defense kind of showed why they're number one in total defense.
Yeah, they're just it makes you kind of scared of what it could be moving forward, because they're obviously a very young team. They're a very talented team. They've got the best running back in the NFL. It's just they have all the pieces. Now, all I will say, this is just to hype up my own team a little bit. The Packers held the Eagles to their lowest point total of the playoffs at 22 points. So
they did.
Hats off to of the Green Bay Packers. Go Pack, go.
They did do that. Yeah, go Pack, go there. I will say, I think if we're comparing dynasties, there's one dynasty that I actually, looking back at, didn't mind watching, and one dynasty that I think might be the most unbearable watch ever. And the Patriots were the dynasty that I liked watching, and the Chiefs are the dynasty that I think is the most unbearable watch. I think they are such a tough team to watch. I can't stand, they've got a bunch of prima donnas on that team, a bunch of ballerinas, basically. It is a tough watching them play. And then you pair that with the refs and all that stuff. It's tough. They're a tough watch.
Yeah, I used to hate on Brady and the Patriots, but like now looking back on it, you kind of appreciate it more and what he did and how he did it. So I used to not be a big fan of Brady, but now I love him. He's gotten better in the booth. He has now been either on the call or in the game of both Mahomes' Super Bowl losses.
Yeah. I started liking Brady a lot better when he went to the Bucs, and I feel like I like appreciated his greatness more when he left the Patriots. So
definitely, I would agree with that.
But yeah, looking back at it, it's like, dang, I would do anything right now if the Patriots were on. Well, they're in our division, but the Patriots just won the right way and weren't so arrogant about it.
Right.
Besides Deflategate,
didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Yeah, wait, what's Deflategate?
What's Deflategate?
Come on now. Well, any other sports we want to touch on? I know, Creighton played UConn last night, lost. Nebraska's back on a roll, but the Creighton did beat Marquette earlier in the week, though. So
yeah, they beat them on Saturday. That was a big win. I mean, UConn, they're still a tough team. Like, we can't ignore the fact it's a Dan Hurley led team. They were playing they played and won 2 straight national championship games, and they had a top 6 recruiting class in the country. We can't ignore that. So I think, that loss, it's a loss at home. It was dollar beer night there, whatever they gave away free pizza, and that is a tough loss, but that's not a bad loss. It's not like it's a loss to DePaul. I mean, UConn's a tough team. They'll be a tough out in March Madness. So yeah,
that's kind of my thought. I thought Creighton just played a really poor second half, and you can't do that against such a good team. And so it sucks to lose at home. It sucks to lose because the coach on the other end of the floor is going to make you hear about it for a little bit. And so all that sucks. But I'm not worried really about Creighton's trajectory moving forward. So. It sucks, but still a lot of games to be played. So
yeah,
impressive. Yeah, Liam McNeil. I didn't get to watch the game, but 38 points, had over half the points.
Yeah, he was. It was frustrating watching him do that, but he looked really good. He looked really good.
Yeah, and then for
Nebraska, there's a couple shots. There was a
what's
couple
up?
shots that were desperation shots where it was like
Uh-huh.
off 1 foot, throw it up. It's like, dear Lord, how in the world? But when you're hot, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Yeah,
Right.
the interesting thing about it, UConn, their last tournament loss was to New Mexico State with I don't know if you recognize Teddy Allen, the
Yeah.
name, played at Boys Town. He dropped 37 points in that game against UConn. That's their last tournament loss. So, but Nebraska, this is when they start playing their best basketball under Fred Hoiberg the last 3 years. 3-0 in February so far. Or well, they on a 4-game win streak at the end of March beat Illinois, came out, beat a pretty solid Oregon team, and then came back on the road again against Washington, beat Ohio State. So they've been playing a lot better basketball defensively, is where Nebraska's been playing a lot better, because when we start playing bad, we just get blown up by 30 and we can't play defense. So I feel like the defense has been back for Nebraska, and we play Maryland, a 25th ranked team, on Thursday at home. So it would be big to get that one. Nebraska's back in the hunt for that, on the bubble for making the tournament again.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, they've got a big game against Maryland on Thursday. Maryland just cracked the top 25 for the first time, and I thought I saw like over 4 years. So, yeah, that'll be a big game on Thursday for them.
Yep. So I think that's going to wrap up our time here on Throwin Lopes. Oh, wait, John.
So I just got to hype up. Pitchers and catchers have reported today for spring training, so that's why I got all this gear on. We got fellas the postseason hat. Making the playoffs. We got the postseason shirt. This is actually the first time I have gotten to wear this shirt, because it got here after the Yankees had eliminated the Royals from the playoffs, so it didn't really make sense to wear it. But we're winning the World Series this year. Just want to let you guys know now, so you can prepare yourselves. Really excited for baseball season.
If you're a Cardinals fan, you wish your pitchers and catchers would unreport and go back home. That's how I'm feeling. I wish our team would go back home and not play baseball this summer, just forfeit the season, because we're going to be bad. What a disastrous team, and I want to cry in a hole on opening day. Will I watch 100 out of the 162 games? Absolutely. Will I cry? Yes, I will.
Yeah, not a lot of big baseball. What about your other team, Ethan? My Detroit Pistons went up against your Chicago Bulls last night.
Did the Pistons even break a sweat yesterday? I mean, the Bulls just got annihilated. What are we doing at this point? Every team that I root for sucks. Just abysmal. Okay.
130. Yeah, 132-92. The Pistons outscored the Bulls in the first half, 34-18 in the first. In the second, it was 37-11. So.
We had 29 points at half. 29 points at half. Are we serious right now? Are we a real team? Are we a real franchise, man? I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, it's time for the Bulls to tank. It's time for them to tank. Stop being in the middle.
Yeah. I'm tired of the consistently being mediocre.
Yeah.
Hey, all I have to say about NBA, Warriors 2-0 in the Jimmy Butler era. So
yeah,
let's
go. How about AD getting hurt his first game back, and now he's expected to miss like 4+ weeks?
Just, it's perfect. I mean, it's exactly what you expect. It sucks. It really sucks, but I mean, it just perfectly fits his narrative of his career.
Absolutely.
It's perfect for the Mavs fans to prove the GM wrong.
Yes.
He was getting booed at an SMU basketball game.
Good.
By the SMU students, which I don't blame it. Now Daniel Gafford, your starting center, is out now too. So both your big guys are out for the Mavericks. So it's just, and then the Lakers absolutely just, obviously they were playing the Jazz, but they look pretty dang good. The Lakers did with Luka.
I'm scared. They might win it all.
Like Luka scored 14, and they still looked unstoppable, because now they can play LeBron and Luka at different times. They can play less minutes. And
well, yeah, that's exactly what they've kind of approached the Warriors with too. Is they have Jimmy playing a lot of the non-Steph minutes to still have kind of a dominant scorer. So, and the Lakers obviously have a couple more threats than the Warriors do. And so it kind of makes you scared of what the Lakers could be as you get into playoff season.
Yeah. Lakers, all their starters were in double digits. Rui Hachimura with 21, LeBron with 24, Jackson Hayes 12, Luka 14, Austin Reeves 22, and then they had this guy that just got picked off the practice squad or is on a 10-day, Jordan Goodwin, off the bench with 17.
Who?
So, exactly. He had a mask on.
Never
And he
heard
threw
of
it
it.
off midway through the game. But they were not missing. They were dominant.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm scared for the West with that now.
Yeah.
they're gonna be good.
I don't get it. I just don't get the move by their general manager. It makes no sense to me. You don't want to pay your franchise guy, really? Like
They
that's
thought
what it
Luka
comes
was
to?
fat.
He's not fat. He's like
not.
he's 6'7",
Yeah.
240, 250. It's not fat, especially when
Yeah.
you're 6'7".
It's ridiculous. Just
Yeah, it might be as worse a trade as that Celtics Nets one when they sent like KG and Paul Pierce to the Nets. It might come down to
I
that being one of the worst
I think
trades
this
ever.
is worse, to be honest.
It's
yeah,
got to be
might be.
because that messed up the Nets for whatever 4 years, and then they end up getting KD, James Harden, Kyrie. Who knows where the Mavs go from here? But hey,
Yeah.
if they win a championship, that's maybe if they find a way. That's the only way
Yeah.
it's not. But that, I don't foresee it.
Yep.
Be interesting to see.
But yeah, anything else on some national sports? Or is that we pretty much covered everything that's been
I think we
happening?
got it. Yeah.
I think we got it.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap up Throwin Lopes here on Microsoft Teams, not on 91.1 KLPR, but we're from home today on our snow day. I was Kade Mohr, your host. Alongside me was John Willis and Ethan McCormick. I hope everyone has a great rest of the week and make sure to stay warm out in the snowy weather.